The morning sun barely peeks over the distant ridge, casting a soft, amber light across the sprawling wilderness. Anna Woodson, 78, is already up, her routine as familiar to her as the worn floorboards beneath her feet. The camera follows her every move, steady, deliberate, with the quiet grace of someone who has spent decades in the same place. Her hands tremble ever so slightly as she pours herself a cup of coffee from the old kettle, its once bright surface now dulled with time. Anna's eyesight is failing, a shadow over everything she tries to do, but she refuses to let it slow her down. She knows every inch of her cabin by heart, the creaking steps on the porch, the scratch of a pine branch against the window, the familiar scent of wood smoke and fresh earth that fills the air. The camera lingers on small details, the chipped mug she holds, the carefully folded blanket on the armchair, the framed photograph of her late husband, William, resting on the mantel. Outside, the snow has just begun to fall, lightly dusting the ground in soft, white layers. The mountains rise up in the distance, majestic yet quiet, a comforting presence for Anna. She opens the door, stepping out onto the porch, her boots crunching in the fresh snow. For a moment, she simply stands there, her face turned towards the cold wind, as if trying to catch a glimpse of something she cannot see anymore. Her heart aches, but she doesn't let it show. She walks to the woodpile, gathering logs with a steadiness that betrays her age. The muscles in her arms may be stiff, and the breath in her lungs may come a little slower, but the independence she holds on to is unshakable. She might live alone, but she has the mountains, the memories of her husband, and the small comforts of her life here in Pinecrest. Yet, despite all the strength she shows, there is a loneliness in her eyes. As she steps back into the cabin, she glances once more at the photo of William, the silence of the mountains pressing in around her. The sound of tires crunching on the snow-covered road breaks the stillness of the mountain air. A small sedan, its wipers working hard to clear the flurry of snow, makes its way toward Anna's cabin. Inside, Maria Woodson sits behind the wheel, her brow furrowed as she looks ahead at the winding road that leads back to her childhood home. At 27, Maria has spent the past several years in the city, pursuing her career and building a life away from the quiet, rugged life of Pinecrest. But today, she's returning, and not for a visit. Maria pulls up to the cabin, the familiar surroundings both comforting and heavy in their reminder of time past. She steps out of the car, the cold air immediately biting at her skin. She pauses, taking in the sight of the cabin that once felt so full of life, now quiet and isolated. As she walks to the door, her mind races with worry. She hasn't seen Anna in months, and the brief phone calls they've had have done little to ease her concerns. Anna, as stubborn as she is independent, insists she's fine. But Maria knows better. Her grandmother, with her failing eyesight and the weight of the years, is not as capable as she once was. Yet Anna refuses to leave her beloved home, and Maria can't shake the feeling that it's only a matter of time before something happens. Maria knocks on the door, the sound muffled by the thick wood. Anna's familiar voice calls out from inside, and Maria smiles in relief, though she feels a knot tighten in her stomach. When Anna opens the door, there's no immediate warmth in her greeting, just a brief, wary glance. "You're here early," Anna says, stepping aside to let Maria in. Her tone is neutral, almost guarded. Maria steps inside, her eyes immediately scanning the cabin for signs of her grandmother's well-being. "I wanted to come see you. I was worried," she says softly, watching as Anna moves around the room, seemingly without trouble. "I'm fine, Maria," Anna insists, her voice firm, though her eyes betray a hint of exhaustion. "I don't need anyone looking after me." But Maria can see it, the small tremor in Anna's hand as she reaches for a cup on the shelf, the faint signs of fatigue in her posture. A deep sigh escapes Maria, her concern rising. "Grandma, you can't keep doing everything on your own. You need help. I'll stay here for a while, just until things settle." Anna bristles at the suggestion, her face hardening. "I don't need anyone," she snaps, her pride flaring. "I've been fine for years. I don't need anyone to take care of me now." The tension in the room is palpable, the generational divide clear. Maria wants to help, to ease her grandmother's burdens, but Anna's independence is not something she's willing to surrender so easily. The silence between them stretches, thick with unspoken words, until Anna finally breaks it with a soft, "I'm fine, Maria. You're wasting your time here." But Maria doesn't believe her. Not for a second. The crisp Montana air carries the scent of pine and cold earth, settling over the small cabin nestled against the edge of Pinecrest. Anna is sitting in her favorite chair by the fire, her eyes trained on the dancing flames, but her mind is elsewhere. The house feels too still, too quiet, and the days stretch on endlessly in solitude. The gentle tick-tock of the old clock on the wall is her only companion. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door, startling her out of her thoughts. Anna slowly gets to her feet, her joints creaking with each movement. She walks with a steady but deliberate pace to the door, opening it to reveal a familiar face. Jack Turner stands in the doorway, his rugged features framed by the light from the setting sun. At 60, Jack is a local hunter, known throughout Pinecrest for his expertise in tracking animals. His clothes are worn and weathered, the deep lines on his face a testament to years spent in the wilderness. He has a reputation, respected by many, but his morally ambiguous ways have earned him a fair share of distrust as well. "Afternoon, Anna," Jack says with a slight nod, his voice gruff but warm. "I was passing through and thought I'd check on you." Anna, though surprised, smiles faintly. "Jack, what brings you here?" "Thought you might be interested in something I found," he replies, stepping aside to reveal a small bundle of fur at his feet. A German Shepherd puppy, barely a few months old, stares up at Anna with wide, innocent eyes. Its fur is matted with dirt, and its ribs show through its thin coat. The puppy looks up at her, trembling slightly from the cold. Anna blinks, taken aback. "What's this?" "Found him just off the outskirts of town," Jack explains, crouching down to gently pat the dog's head. "Someone must have dumped him out there. He's a good one. German Shepherd, though, looks like he's been through some rough times." Anna eyes the dog warily, her heart tugging at the sight of the small animal's vulnerability. She had always loved dogs, and this one, despite its condition, reminds her of the old shepherd her husband, William, had raised before he passed. The thought of bringing another dog into her life feels overwhelming, yet Anna can't deny the pull she feels deep inside her. Jack stands up, wiping his hands on his jeans. "I know you live alone out here, and I thought this might be just what you need. A good companion. Something to keep you company." Anna hesitates, the weight of her decision settling in. She had spent so many years alone, and the thought of taking on a new responsibility, especially one so vulnerable, feels daunting. She's already struggling with her eyesight and the aches of old age. Could she really care for a dog again? But the puppy's eyes, so full of hope, draw her in. The silence in the cabin, the absence of William's laughter, the emptiness she feels in her heart, it all comes crashing down on her. "How much?" she asks, her voice low, almost as if afraid of the answer. Jack meets her gaze, his expression unreadable. $300. "I'll cut you a deal." "That's about what I paid for him." "A good deal for a dog like this." Anna feels a pang in her chest. $300 is no small sum, especially with her limited income. Her Social Security check only stretches so far, and she's careful with every penny. But she can't shake the yearning in her heart, the loneliness, the need for something to fill the empty spaces in her life. Without thinking, she nods. "I'll take him." Jack's lips curl into a slight smile, a knowing look in his eyes. "Good choice, Anna. He'll do you good." He takes the money without a word, his rough hands handling the transaction with practiced ease. Anna bends down to pet the puppy, her fingers trembling slightly as they make contact with its soft fur. The dog licks her hand, its tail wagging ever so slightly. "Max," Anna murmurs, her voice thick with emotion. "I'll name you Max, after William's dog. It feels right." The puppy looks up at her, its big eyes full of trust, as if it understands. Anna stands up, the weight of her decision sinking in, but also a small sense of hope. She's taken the first step towards something new, something that might fill the void she's carried for so long. The dog, Max, follows her inside, stepping carefully over the threshold. As the door closes behind them, a new chapter begins, uncertain yet full of possibility. The days grow longer as winter begins to recede, and the cabin slowly comes to life with the presence of Anna's new companion. Max, the German Shepherd puppy, has settled into his new home, and the connection between him and Anna grows with each passing day. At first, Anna wasn't sure what to expect, but now, she can't imagine life without him. It's early in the morning when the first sign of their bond is evident. Anna stirs in her bed, her eyes still blurry from sleep. She reaches for her cane, but before she can rise, Max is there, his large frame at the side of the bed, tail wagging gently. His soft whine catches her attention, and she smiles, her heart warmed by the gesture. "Well, good morning to you too, Max," she says, her voice thick with affection. She gently reaches out, her fingers finding the soft fur on his head. Max nuzzles into her hand, his body vibrating with contentment. Over the next few weeks, Max's presence becomes a constant in Anna's life. The puppy, once timid and uncertain, now follows her everywhere. Whether she's tending to the garden outside or working around the cabin, Max is never far behind. His protective instincts begin to surface as he watches her with the careful attention of a guard dog, though his love for her is unmistakable. One morning, as Anna walks to the shed to fetch a basket of firewood, Max trots ahead, nudging the door open with his nose. Anna chuckles softly, her old knees creaking as she moves forward. The shed is small and cluttered, and Anna has always found it difficult to maneuver around the tools and piles of wood. But now, with Max beside her, she feels less afraid of the cramped space. He watches over her as she bends to pick up the wood, his sharp eyes scanning the surroundings. The way he stands guard, ever aware of his surroundings, gives Anna a sense of security she hasn't felt in years. Later, when Anna returns to the cabin, she sets the basket down by the hearth, only to find Max already curled up by the fire, his eyes fixed on her. She smiles warmly at him as she stirs the pot of soup on the stove. The comfort of having him around, even when he's quietly resting, fills the room with a newfound sense of peace. As the weeks pass, Anna begins to notice the subtle ways Max helps her navigate her challenges. Whether it's fetching her cane when it falls out of reach or sitting by her side when she feels too weak to continue with her chores, Max becomes an indispensable part of her routine. He's there for her in ways she never expected. One evening, as Anna tries to bring in the laundry from the line, a gust of wind blows the sheets off the clothesline. Anna watches helplessly, knowing she no longer has the strength to chase after the fluttering fabric. But before she can do anything, Max darts forward, grabbing one of the sheets with his mouth and returning it to her. His movements are swift and purposeful, his eyes bright with determination. Anna's heart swells with pride as she watches him. "Well, aren't you something?" she says softly, the bond between them growing stronger with every small gesture. At night, when the cabin falls silent except for the soft crackling of the fire, Max curls up beside Anna's chair, his head resting on her feet. He's her constant companion, the warmth of his body offering comfort as she reads a book or knits by the fire. There's a peacefulness in these quiet moments, a sense of companionship that Anna hasn't felt in years. The dog's growing attachment to her is undeniable. He's no longer just a pet, he's become her protector, her friend, her family. She watches as he reacts to every noise outside the cabin, ears pricked, eyes alert, but never with aggression. Instead, it's as if he's simply ensuring she's safe, guarding her from the dangers of the outside world. For Anna, the loneliness she once felt begins to dissipate. With Max by her side, she feels a sense of reassurance she hasn't known since William's passing. There are still struggles, still moments of difficulty with her health, but with Max, there's always a presence, a reminder that she's not truly alone. Max, in his simple way, has become the bridge between Anna's past and her future, filling the quiet spaces of her life with something that's been missing for so long: comfort, affection, and the kind of unconditional love that only an animal can provide. As the days pass, Anna begins to notice changes in Max. What started as a small, timid puppy is quickly transforming into something far larger than she expected. Each morning, Anna watches as Max grows stronger, his muscles developing, his body becoming more solid and imposing. He's not the average German Shepherd, he's rapidly surpassing the normal size for his breed, and Anna can no longer deny the changes taking place. One morning, as she stands in the kitchen, preparing breakfast, she hears a strange sound, a thud followed by a soft scraping. Turning, she sees Max, his front paws braced on the top of the refrigerator, his body just a few inches away from the high shelf. For a moment, Anna stands frozen, her mouth slightly open in disbelief. "How on earth did you get up there?" she murmurs under her breath. Max looks down at her with those wide, intelligent eyes, his tail swishing in amusement. He hops down effortlessly, landing on the floor with a soft thud. Anna can't help but chuckle, even as a ripple of unease runs through her. It's not just that he's growing, it's how quickly it's happening. Max is no longer the small dog she brought home a few months ago. Max's new strength becomes more apparent each day. He seems to do things effortlessly now that would have been impossible before, fetching firewood, carrying bundles of kindling, even standing guard at the door with a protective stance that surprises Anna. Though she still struggles with her failing eyesight and aching joints, Max is there for her every step of the way. He helps her with small tasks, nudging things closer, guiding her when she stumbles, his eyes always watching, always alert. One afternoon, Anna steps outside to gather firewood. Her back aches, and the weight of the wood she's carrying is too much for her frail body. Max is there, as always, bounding ahead and carefully grabbing a bundle of firewood with his strong jaws. He returns it to her with surprising gentleness, dropping the wood at her feet. Anna can't help but smile at the sight of him, at the way he's grown into a protector, something she hadn't anticipated when she first bought him. But it's not just his strength that strikes Anna, it's his protective nature. Whenever someone walks past the cabin or there's a strange noise outside, Max is the first to react. His ears perk up, his body tense with attention. He watches the surroundings carefully, never leaving Anna's side. It's as if he's become not just her companion, but her guardian. One evening, as Anna prepares to head to bed, she hears a noise outside. She pauses, uncertainty creeping in. Before she can gather the strength to investigate, Max is already at the window, his eyes scanning the darkening world outside. He growls softly, a deep rumble that seems to vibrate through the cabin. Anna is startled at first but then feels a quiet reassurance. She doesn't need to worry. Max is already on guard. "Good boy, Max," Anna whispers, her voice filled with gratitude. The sense of companionship that Max provides grows deeper every day. He's not just a dog anymore, he's become a part of Anna's life in a way she never expected. Though she still faces the challenges of old age, Max has become the source of her strength. His presence, his unwavering devotion, has filled the space left behind by years of solitude. Anna knows she's growing older, that her days are becoming harder to manage, but with Max by her side, she feels a sense of peace. His protective nature, his growing strength, and the bond they've formed offer her a comfort she hasn't known for a long time. Max is no longer just a dog to her, he's a part of her, a companion she's come to depend on, not just for physical support, but for emotional healing as well. With him, Anna feels safe. And for the first time in years, she feels truly at peace. The quiet of Anna's cabin is broken by the familiar sound of Maria's car arriving. Anna looks up from her chair by the fire, the warmth of the room offering little comfort as she anticipates another conversation with her granddaughter. Anna had become accustomed to the solitude of her life in Pinecrest, but the tension that's been growing between her and Maria feels harder to ignore each time she visits. The door opens, and Maria steps inside, shaking off the snow from her boots. There's a brief smile exchanged, but Anna can see the concern in Maria's eyes as she looks toward Max. The large German Shepherd is lying near the door, his presence now dominating the room. He's grown so much since Maria last saw him, and Anna can't help but feel a twinge of pride. "Hi, Grandma," Maria says softly. "How are you today?" "I'm fine," Anna replies, trying to sound cheerful as she looks at Max, who seems to have grown even bigger since Maria's last visit. Anna's smile falters slightly as Maria's gaze rests on the dog, a shadow crossing her features. "I see Max is doing well," Maria says, her voice cautious. "He's gotten so big." Anna nods, her chest swelling with pride. "Yes, he's growing. He's a strong dog. He's been great, Maria." "Really? He's been a huge help." Maria's gaze lingers on Max for a moment longer before she sits down across from Anna, her hands tightly clasped in her lap. "Grandma," she says, her voice quieter now, "I've been thinking a lot about Max lately, and I'm really worried." Anna's brow furrows. "Worried? What do you mean?" Maria hesitates for a moment before speaking, her concern evident. "Max isn't like a normal dog anymore. He's growing faster than I expected. He's strong, too strong. I've seen how he reacts to strangers. He's become so protective, Grandma. Almost too protective. Anna's heart tightens. She's proud of how Max has become her protector, the one constant in her life. He's just doing his job, Maria. He's protecting me. He's a good dog. I know he's a good dog, Maria replies gently, but there's a note of worry in her voice. But I've seen how he's becoming more territorial. He's guarding the house, even growling at anyone who comes too close. Yesterday, he barked at Mr. Henderson when he brought the mail. That's not normal, Grandma. Anna feels a chill run through her. Max had never acted this way before. She glances at him, who's now staring at Maria, his body tense. Max isn't usually so aggressive, but could Maria be right? Is he becoming too protective? He's just looking out for me, Anna insists, trying to shake off the discomfort she feels. I don't have anyone else out here. I need him. Maria stands up, her face softening with concern. I understand that, Grandma. But I'm scared. What if something happens? What if he becomes too aggressive? What if he hurts someone, or worse, what if he turns on you? He's so much stronger than a typical dog, and you're getting older. You can't manage him if something goes wrong. Anna's chest tightens at her granddaughter's words, but she forces herself to stay calm. I've been managing fine out here. I don't need anyone telling me what to do. I don't want you coming here and trying to take Max from me. He's the only one who's kept me company. Maria's eyes shimmer with unshed tears. I'm not trying to take him away, Grandma. I just want you to be safe. I'm worried that one day, something will happen, and you won't be able to handle it. I want to help, but I can't ignore how dangerous this is. Anna stands up, her fists clenched. You don't understand. He's mine. I need him. Maria takes a deep breath and speaks softly. Grandma, please. We need to reconsider. Max's behavior is getting more unpredictable. He's no longer just a companion, he's becoming a threat. I'm scared that one day he'll hurt someone, and I don't want it to be you. Anna's heart breaks at Maria's words. She loves Max, he's her protector, her friend, but now, she wonders if her granddaughter's concerns are valid. She looks down at Max, who's still watching Maria, his body tense. He's a dog she's come to rely on, but could she be wrong to trust him so completely? Max suddenly rises from the floor, walking over to Anna's side, his massive body brushing against her legs. His presence is comforting, but the unease in Anna's heart is hard to ignore. Maria watches the interaction, her worry growing. Please, Grandma. I'm just asking you to think about it. For a long moment, Anna says nothing, her mind racing. She doesn't want to admit it, but Maria's words have planted a seed of doubt. She looks down at Max, who gazes up at her with unconditional trust. She knows that she's not alone, but now, for the first time, the doubt creeps in. Could Max be a danger to her? I don't know what to think anymore, Anna whispers, her voice faltering. Maria reaches out, placing a hand gently on her grandmother's shoulder. I just want you to be safe. The room is filled with an unspoken tension, the rift between Anna and Maria growing wider. Anna's attachment to Max, her protector, is undeniable, but now she questions if he's truly the safeguard she thought him to be. The sun begins to dip behind the mountains as Maria walks through the park, heading home from school. The streets of Pinecrest are peaceful, but something feels off today. As she walks past the benches, she notices Kyle Tanner and his friends, a group of newcomers to the village. They've been causing trouble recently, and Maria feels a sense of unease wash over her as their eyes follow her every step. She quickens her pace, trying to ignore them, but just as she's about to cross the park, Kyle steps into her path, blocking her way. His friends snicker behind him, making Maria's stomach twist with anxiety. Hey, Maria, Kyle says, his voice smooth and taunting. Where are you going in such a hurry? You look like you could use some company. Maria stops, her heart racing. She tries to move around him, but Kyle steps closer, a sly grin on his face. Come on, don't be shy. You don't have to be alone. She takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. I'm fine, Kyle. I need to get home, she says firmly, her voice trembling despite her best efforts. Kyle steps even closer, blocking her way again. Why don't you stay a while? I'm sure we can have some fun. You're so pretty when you don't act like you're too good for us. Maria feels trapped. Her pulse quickens, and her body tenses. She looks around, but the park is empty, and the few people passing by are too far to help. She's alone, and Kyle's friends are watching her, egging him on. The situation is escalating. I said, let me go, Maria repeats, her voice now barely a whisper as fear builds inside her. But Kyle doesn't listen. One of his friends steps forward, his smile sickeningly smug. She's playing hard to get, man. Maybe she needs some convincing. Maria's chest tightens as she looks around for an escape, but there's no way out. She feels cornered. Her breath is shallow, and the panic in her chest threatens to overwhelm her. That's enough, she says, but Kyle steps even closer. He reaches out, and Maria flinches, her heart racing. Just as she feels the situation spiraling out of control, a deep growl cuts through the tension. Maria looks up in shock as Max, the large German shepherd, comes charging into the park. His protective instincts are clear as he positions himself between Maria and the group, a low, threatening growl escaping his throat. Kyle hesitates, his confident smirk faltering as Max steps closer, his eyes locked on the group. Maria watches in stunned silence as Max stands firm, unwavering in his protection. After a tense moment, Kyle and his friends slowly start to back away, unsure of how to handle the situation. They exchange nervous glances, then turn and walk off, muttering under their breath. Maria stands still for a moment, her heart still pounding in her chest. Max walks over to her, his body relaxing slightly as he nuzzles her hand. Tears spring to Maria's eyes as she kneels down, wrapping her arms around him. Thank you, she whispers, her voice shaky but filled with gratitude. Max licks her hand, his presence a comforting anchor in the aftermath of the terrifying encounter. The tension in the park is palpable. Maria stands frozen, feeling trapped and helpless as Kyle and his friends continue to press in on her. Every step she takes to back away is blocked, their taunting words like a heavy weight pressing down on her chest. The men's advances are becoming more intense, their leers and crude comments filling the air. Maria's heart is racing, her instinct screaming for her to escape, but there's nowhere to go. Just as Kyle takes another step closer, Maria feels the fear consuming her. She tries to steady herself, her mind racing for a way out, but the situation is spiraling beyond her control. Kyle's smirk widens, and Maria can see the intent in his eyes, it's no longer a joke to him. Her breath quickens, and she takes a small step back, feeling more cornered with each move. But then, from the corner of her eye, she notices movement. It's a blur at first, but as it emerges from the nearby woods, the figure becomes unmistakable. Max? The sight of him sends a wave of relief through Maria, but she isn't sure if she's imagining things. The massive German shepherd strides toward her with confidence, his body stiff, eyes locked on the men in front of him. Without hesitation, Max steps between Maria and Kyle's group, positioning himself in front of her as if to shield her from harm. His protective instincts are instantly on full display. His head is low, his eyes narrowing into a fierce, unwavering stare. He growls deeply, the sound emanating from his chest like thunder, his body tense with readiness. The men freeze. Their laughter dies instantly, replaced by a palpable sense of unease. Kyle, who had been so confident moments before, hesitates. Max's presence is overwhelming, and the energy in the air shifts from playful intimidation to genuine fear. The group of men, now faced with a dog far larger and more powerful than they expected, realize they've made a grave mistake. Max's growl intensifies, echoing through the park as he takes a step forward, his stance solid as a rock. The men glance at each other nervously, but none of them moves. They've underestimated the dog, and they realize they're no longer in control of the situation. Max, with every muscle in his body poised for action, makes it clear that he's not afraid of them. This isn't just a dog, it's a protector, and it's standing between Maria and danger. Kyle's confidence falters as Max lets out another menacing growl. Back off, Maria hears Kyle mutter under his breath, his eyes wide with apprehension. He takes a hesitant step back, followed by his friends, who exchange uneasy glances. The power has shifted, and they can feel it. "Get out of here," Maria says, her voice shaky but filled with newfound strength. Max's presence beside her gives her courage, and she feels a surge of hope as the men retreat. Kyle and his friends don't need to be told twice. They quickly turn and start to walk away, their heads low, realizing they'd been bested by a dog they didn't expect to encounter. As the group disappears down the path, Max slowly relaxes, his growl subsiding into a low, rumbling hum. He turns to Maria, his eyes softening, and approaches her with a gentle nudge. Maria sinks to her knees, her heart still pounding from the rush of fear and relief. She wraps her arms around Max, her chest heaving as she whispers, "Thank you." The connection between them has never been clearer. Max didn't just protect her, he saved her. In that moment, Maria knows with certainty that she is no longer alone. Max has become more than just a pet, he is her guardian, her fierce protector, and her unwavering companion. The news of Max's heroic intervention spreads quickly through Pinecrest, as word of the confrontation in the park travels like wildfire. By the time Maria gets home that evening, she's already heard murmurs of the event from neighbors and even a few curious glances when she walks down the street. At first, there's disbelief, followed by admiration. Max, the once quiet German shepherd who had been known simply as Anna's loyal companion, is now the town's hero. People talk about him with awe, recounting how he stepped in to protect Maria when the situation had seemed dire. "That dog saved her," they say. "Never seen anything like it." Slowly, the once isolated Anna and her dog are no longer seen as distant figures in the community, but as integral parts of Pinecrest. Max, once just a pet, is now a symbol of courage, a reminder of the strength that can emerge when a bond of love and loyalty is forged between an animal and its owner. It's not long before the sheriff, Carl Jenkins, arrives at Anna's cabin, knocking on the door with a serious expression. Maria answers, still processing the wave of attention they've received. She's relieved to see the sheriff, his visit feels like an acknowledgement that something important has happened. "Afternoon, Maria," Sheriff Jenkins says, tipping his hat. "Is your grandmother around?" Anna, who's sitting by the fire, looks up as he enters. The sheriff pulls up a chair and sits across from her, his demeanor professional but kind. "I've been getting calls all day about Max," he begins, his voice calm but firm. "People are talking, and they're saying he saved you both from a dangerous situation. We need to talk about what happens next." Anna's heart skips a beat. She's afraid the sheriff might want to take Max away, considering his protective behavior, but Sheriff Jenkins reassures her. "I'm not here to take your dog, Anna. But we need to make sure everything's in order. Max's actions may have been heroic, but they also bring up some legal concerns. We need to make sure you're both safe and that Max is properly registered as an educational animal for protection." Maria looks at the sheriff, her brow furrowed. "What does that mean exactly?" "Well," the sheriff continues, "Max is now considered more than just a pet. He's demonstrated that he can protect you and others. But with that comes responsibility, on both your part and the town's. If Max is going to continue to live here, I'll help you navigate the paperwork to make sure he's legally allowed to stay as an educational and protective animal." Anna nods, still processing everything. She's relieved, but a part of her feels overwhelmed by the idea of paperwork and permits. However, the sheriff's reassurance brings comfort. "I'm happy to help with that," he adds. "We can't let someone like Max slip through the cracks. He's done something important for this community." As the sheriff guides them through the legal steps and secures the necessary permits, Anna and Maria begin to realize how much the town has come to rely on Max. The fear that Anna once had about Max becoming a danger is now replaced by the understanding that he is a valued protector, a true member of their community. The town comes together to celebrate Max's heroism. Neighbors stop by to offer their thanks, and some even bring treats for him. It's clear that Max has brought more than just protection into their lives. He's brought the community closer together, rekindling a sense of unity and gratitude. As Anna sits on her porch, Max by her side, she watches the town embrace both her and her dog. She smiles, finally feeling at peace. She knows that the road ahead won't always be easy, but with Max by her side, she's no longer alone. Maria stands quietly in the doorway, watching Anna and Max. The news of Max's heroism has spread quickly through Pinecrest, and Maria can see how the town now sees him not just as a pet, but as a protector. The worry she had felt about Max's growing size and his protective nature begins to fade as she watches Anna gently stroke Max's fur. It's clear now how much he means to her. Anna looks up, sensing Maria's quiet contemplation. "Maria," she says softly, a trace of uncertainty in her voice. "What's on your mind?" Maria hesitates for a moment, then walks over to sit beside Anna. "I've been thinking about everything," she begins, her voice steady but soft. "I was really worried about Max. I didn't understand why you needed him so much. But seeing you two together, I get it now. He's more than just a dog to you." Anna's face softens with relief. "He's my companion, Maria. He's all I have left." Maria nods, the weight of her grandmother's words settling in. "I can see that now. I didn't realize how much you depended on him. How much he helps you." Anna smiles, her eyes filled with affection for both Max and her granddaughter. "I know you only want what's best for me. But Max is here for me in ways I never expected." Maria reaches out, her hand brushing against Anna's. "I'm sorry I didn't understand sooner. I just wanted you to be safe. But I see now that Max is a part of your life. He's not just a dog. He's a protector, and he's been there for you when I couldn't be." A tear wells up in Anna's eye as she smiles at her granddaughter. "Thank you, Maria. That means more than you know." Maria takes a deep breath, her mind made up. "I'll help you with the paperwork, Grandma. I want Max to stay with you. I want you both to be safe." Anna's heart swells with gratitude. She places a hand on Maria's. "Thank you. I couldn't do this without you." Maria nods, a small smile forming on her lips. She knows now that Max is more than just a dog, he's the connection that Anna has to the world. He gives her the confidence to continue, the protection she needs, and the love she hasn't had in years. The two of them sit in silence for a moment, watching Max as he rests his head on Anna's lap. There's a deep sense of understanding between them now, a realization that their love for Max is something that binds them together. They may have been at odds before, but now, with their shared support for Anna and Max, they've found common ground. As the quiet settles around them, Maria feels a sense of peace. Max, once just a pet, is now an irreplaceable part of their family. And together, they will make sure he stays with them, protecting Anna as he has always done. As Anna approaches her 80th birthday, the once quiet cabin feels full, thanks to Max. What began as an unexpected companionship has turned into a deep, unbreakable bond. Max, who had once been abandoned, is now her protector, a source of comfort, and a reminder of the power of love at any age. Sitting on the porch, Anna watches the sunset over the mountains, Max resting by her feet. The peaceful moment is a far cry from the isolation she once felt. The years of solitude have faded, replaced with the steady presence of Max at her side. He's more than a dog now, he's her family. Looking back, Anna realizes how much Max has transformed her life. He's not just her companion, but a protector, helping her feel safe and loved when she thought she was too old for such things. The town, which once saw her as isolated, now sees Anna and Max as a part of the community. People stop by to thank Max for his bravery, and Anna feels the warmth of belonging she hadn't known in years. Max lifts his head, sensing a bird in the distance. Anna smiles, grateful for his watchful presence. She never imagined she would find such companionship in her later years. Maria, who once worried about Max, now understands the bond they share. Together, they've ensured Max can stay with Anna legally. In doing so, they've found a balance, a shared respect that brings them closer. As the sun sets, Anna knows this chapter of her life is one of fulfillment. With Max by her side, she has everything she needs: companionship, protection, and peace.